All right. Good evening and welcome to the Calaveras Council of Governments meeting for April 3rd, 2019. Can you please rise if you can for the pledge? Council Jones, will you please lead us?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, moving on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are expected to be routine and non-controversial and will be acted upon by the council at one time without discussion. Any council member, staff member, or interested parties may request that an item be removed from the consent agenda for further discussion. This evening, we only have one item, that's the minutes from last meeting. Anybody wish to pull the minutes? Staff, public, seeing none, I'm open for a motion.
So moved.
Have a motion?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And one abstention. So we have a 4-0-2 with one abstention. Moving on to the regular agenda. This is a public comment. It's 5 minutes per person. Comments should be limited to the items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council and not on the posted agenda for this evening. This is Government Code Section 54954.3A. Any public comments this evening? This wonderful, wonderful spring evening. Seeing none, I'll move on from public comments. Moving on to item number 3, unmet transit needs, public hearing. At this time, I will open the public hearing on unmet transit needs. And I will go to Amber Collins, Executive Director.
Sure, I can give a brief overview. As the Regional Transportation Planning Agency, we're the administrators of the Transportation Development Act for our region, and the TDA, as you're well aware, provides a majority of funding for transit here in our region. The TDA does require annually that we conduct an unmet transit needs process, and part of that is offering unmet transit needs public hearings, and then developing a report and identifying if there were any unmet transit needs and whether any needs can be met through transit services. And if there are no needs that are reasonable to meet, then TDA funds can be used for streets and roads. So this evening and on the 16th at the Angels Camp City Council meeting, we're offering an opportunity for the public to come provide input. We also receive input through unmet transit needs forms that we distribute throughout the community on transit buses and with other organizations. So we get input other ways as well. So this is just another venue.
Any comments from the board? If not, we'll go to public. We'll again just open the meeting, the hearing. Is there any public comments on this item? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Bring it back. I see this as an action item. It's not really an action item in the fact that we're supposed to take information from the public and then develop from it. So is there any other comments from the board? None? Okay. We will move on. Item number 4. This is a minute order authorizing the executive director to execute. Wow. Executive director to execute a memorandum of understanding with the Tuolumne County Transportation Council, the TCT, for administration of the Caltrans grant promoting safe bicycle travel opportunities for bicycle tourism and economic development. Again, we'll go to Amber.
Thank you, Chair. This was a Caltrans grant awarded to the Tuolumne County Transportation Commission as the project lead, and the COG, along with 4 other regional transportation planning agencies and the California Bicycle Coalition, were sub-applicants. And so we were awarded that grant, and we amended that project into our OWP through amendment number 1 for this year's OWP. Our match amount is $6,800, and that's the match amount for each of the regional agencies participating. This project's really just an opportunity for us to evaluate bicycle tourism and travel in our region. And I think as many people are aware, they've seen cyclists around our region. The foothills are very attractive. It's a challenging terrain and beautiful scenery. nice vistas. So we know that there's cycling in our county. And so I think this is a good opportunity for these regions to come together and look at the economic benefits of cycling in our region. Where do we want to direct or encourage travel for cycling, and to identify gaps or barriers. And this can be through infrastructure gaps or barriers, as well as maybe there's opportunities for education to cyclists, encouraging them to cycle in safe locations, and also education to maybe motorists to be looking out for cyclists in certain areas. So those are the main purposes of this project. And to get it started, we need to execute this MOU with TCTC and the 4 other participating regions. And the MOU just defines the roles of each agency. And so if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any council questions? I do see, and I see the chart in the back, that that we can use in-kind for our contributions, staff time. And if I read this right in the back, I'm looking at page 31 in the package.
Yes, so the Cal Bike has chosen to contribute staff time to this. The 4 other regional agencies have actually done a match.
We actually wrote a check for Matt.
Correct. Well, we didn't write a check, but we programmed it in our
programmed
for cash.
Okay, all right.
Just the in-kind is really difficult to track, especially with 5 different agencies. And Caltrans wants to see the exact match amount, so we would have to show and prove that we spent, the 20% to the 80% of consultant time that's being billed to the project, which we've found in the past is sometimes near impossible without.
Okay. That's
So,
why I asked.
yes.
So, okay.
So we are doing a cash match.
Any other council questions, comments? If not, I'll open up to public comments, questions.
Gary Caldwell, Valley Springs. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With respect to membership on this group, I was wanting to suggest that as maybe ex officio members, that you invite the CHP offices, and they used to have a bike unit. CHP did. I don't know if they still have it or not. And the California Trucking Association, I know they used to be active in transportation issues, and I was surprised to see Caltrans District 10 was not on here. So I would suggest those 3 be invited as ex officio members, or however you want to phrase it, to be on this planning effort.
Thank you, Mr. Caldwell. Any other public comments on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the council. Any other conversations, questions on this? Looking for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0-1. And now we have the 7th board member show up. Wow. All right, moving on to item number 6. Item number 5, Caltrans report. Verbal report, no supplemental materials included. But we are getting some.
Good afternoon, Gregoria Ponce, Caltrans. Unfortunately, our interim director was not able to make it this evening. He extends his apologies, and he will be coming for May. The items you're receiving, we come bearing gifts. One of them is the letter for follow-up items from his office. The second item is the Caltrans mile marker for the winter. And the third item is a noticing for the state highway safety plan invitation. So in terms of following up for last month's items, I want to open by sharing that there was discussion with regards to State Route 4 in Murphy's on crosswalk concerns. We continue to dialogue on context-sensitive solution, main streets, and complete street concepts, focusing on the State Route 4 Pennsylvania Gulch Road location. And we have an upcoming focus meeting, and we'll be covering crossing issues in the city of Murphy's at that meeting. And that is scheduled on April 8th at 1 p.m. in the District 10 office. The second item, State Route 12 in the city of Burston, or the Burston area. There was dialogue on speed sign locations, overall posted speeds, reported accidents. So we've initiated a safety investigation to examine that area with our Office of Traffic Safety. With regards to State Route 49 in San Andreas on the overpaving or crowning issue, we're currently looking at sections along the roadway, identifying focus areas and identifying next steps. I've talked with maintenance and they're aware of it, so as projects come on board in that area, we're literally covering small sections at a time as we go through there. But definitely we recognize there's work to be done. So that'll be coming at the next meeting with a conceptual action plan for that. With regards to State Route 4 and Parrots Ferry Road on lighting opportunities, we've initiated a safety investigation with our Office of Traffic Safety to see what can be done there. I think other than that, that's all I have at this time.
Any questions, council members? Public comments, questions? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 6, this is the county quarterly report and capital improvement program.
Hi, good evening. I'm Kelly Zahnizer from Public Works. I'm here on behalf of Josh Pack. I almost said the wrong name. Josh is at a conference this week, and he asked me to attend to bring you information on the CIP update. So I have 5 projects that I'd like to give you some information on. The first one would be the Pine Street West Point Bikeway project. We are in the final stages of executing a contract with Ray Engineering for plan specifications and estimates. They anticipate we'll receive the report in about a month and a half. So from that point, we'll go into the next steps of evaluating that report and then moving into what the construction is going to look like based on their recommendations. Next one is Mountain Ranch Road. Public Works engineering staff and our engineering consultant, they are meeting tomorrow with Caltrans Environmental Division to discuss this project. And our engineering consultant is currently working to complete the environmental documents, so conferring with Caltrans at this time is appropriate, just to make sure we're all on the same page what the next steps are moving forward. Once that is done, the environmental studies are complete, then we'll move into the next phase, which is right-of-way and construction. This is going to be one of those projects that the county is going to bring back to the COG to ask for additional funding for at the next call for projects. So just giving you a heads up that that will be coming forward. Project number 3 is the road safety sign audit and county roadway sign retroreflectivity. Say that 5 times fast, I dare you. We're going to be combining those 2 projects, essentially the funding from HSIP, Highway Safety Improvement Program, and the RSTP that we're getting from you folks to complete this project, kind of make a whole project out of 2 parts. We submitted a request for authorization for preliminary engineering to Caltrans last week, and when that approval happens, then we'll be able to proceed with the preliminary engineering phase of this project. So things are really moving along well with that. O'Burns Ferry Road left turn lane. Keep hearing about that one. At this point, our new director, is looking at a scaling back of the project a little bit so that it can become something that we can deliver in the near future. With that being said, we're in the process of executing a contract with Nelson Engineering for the preliminary engineering final design, so that last little 10% that's left on that project, so that we'll have a shovel-ready project to move forward with. We need to, as you know already, we need to procure the funding for that construction phase, and so this will be another project that we're going to come back and be asking for funding for to complete that project. That project will be, the funding for that project is of a higher priority than the Mountain Ranch Road project because we have several funding sources for Mountain Ranch Road. Where this particular project, there's not the funding availability, so we're kind of putting that one as the first priority. And then lastly, I can just touch on very briefly on the Wagon Trail Highway 4 realignment project. We're in the process of executing a co-op agreement between the county and Caltrans for right-of-way, and that's scheduled to go to the Board of Supervisors on April 23rd. Pretty much that's all I have for you tonight. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer. Otherwise, I'll come back with answers.
Council questions?
Any idea, Kelly, on additional costs that might be necessary on that Mountain Ranch Road?
You know what, I asked that question to Jen Ellis before I came over here tonight. They're still working with how do I say this correctly? Based on the information they get on the environmental discussion tomorrow, will sort of feed into where we're going to land in terms of the funding. She was hesitant to give me that number because at this point it's a little bit of a moving target, but I think she has a number in her head where we're headed. So after that meeting tomorrow, a little bit more engineering, we'll be able to dial that in. And I believe the deadline for the May 3rd for the call for projects. So we're hoping to have a good package together for that deadline. So that's where we are.
Has there been any conversation about Singletree?
Not that I've been involved in.
Okay. I'll talk to Josh when he
Yeah.
gets back.
These were kind of my stay on point with the COG stuff,
Okay.
so.
Well, thank you for keeping O'Byrne's in the discussion. I know that
Absolutely.
engineering, that scaling back, Josh and I have already talked about it,
Right,
and I fully agree with the concept. It was way over-engineered
yes,
for what they were trying to get done there.
yes,
And I have had a conversation with the homeowners association as well. They understand the role that they're playing with that gate and how
Right.
that gate operates as having a factor
right,
in the accident rate. People are trying to beat their gate.
yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And so they're going to work on that side of the problem, and they do understand the reason for the delays. It's not an easy conversation to have, but we are still committed to doing something for them there in the future.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other council comments or questions? If not, I'll open to the public. Public comments or questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gary Caldwell, Valley Springs. Some of you may know that I'm on the board of directors for the La Cantena Homeowners Association, and we'll be doing a project, we the Homeowners Association will be doing a project that will have an impact on county roads. We're obviously not doing projects on the county road, but in La Cantena there are 3 county-maintained roads, Hart-Vixen, Huckleberry, and Vista del Lago. We will be doing a project to overlay all of the streets in La Cantena. And obviously we'll have an impact at those intersections with the county roads. So I just wanted to let you know that that project is supposed to proceed this month, but we need the weather to cooperate here and get a little warmer, and then the contractor can move in. And the contractor is George Reed.
Yeah, good. Any other public comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 7, the city quarterly report and capital improvement programs.
I can take this item, I suppose. Melissa Eads called before the meeting, and unfortunately, she couldn't make it this evening, so she just asked me to relay to you that the projects listed here are moving forward quickly. And at this time, there are no delivery issues to report, and I think, as you can see, there's some progress in terms of total invoice to date on a few of these, so she just wanted me to relay that information. But any other questions, I would defer to Amanda or Joe.
Oh, well, if I'd known that, I'd have had a whole list. Any council questions or comments?
No.
Any public comments or questions? No? If not, we'll move on. We'll move on to number 8, Transit Quarterly Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll take that one.
You'll take that one,
Yeah.
Melissa?
Yeah.
All right, I was hoping you would.
Okay. So the bus AVL system has been implemented and is in the final closeout phase. We anticipate this should be fully invoiced by the end of June. So we moved along quickly on that one. The bus stop improvement, staff is currently working with our local jurisdictions to identify some opportunities. The previous project had 6 bus stop improvements. 4 of those were completed by the county. So COG staff are looking at the remaining, and we will update the council if there are any developments. On number 3, the bus wraps for the 9 vehicles. These are the transit vehicles. They have been ordered, and applications are scheduled to be complete on all 9 vehicles by May 1st. So we're trying to stagger those. That is our goal. So we'll update the council on that. Number 4 are the new bus stop signs. We completed a purchase order for 40 bus stop signs with the CTA's new branding. So we are anticipating installation to begin in April and hopefully complete by the end of May. And then the new buses, we ordered the 2 new buses, and we are anticipating delivery in July or the beginning of August.
The $5,883 for the new stop signs, does that include installation?
We are having the contracted staff from Paratransit assist us with
Okay, all right. You
installing
say
those.
that's pretty low.
Yeah,
Okay, that was a good deal.
is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. And our quote actually came in lower here for the actual stop signs, and so this will include installation.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Any other questions by council? None? Any public questions or comments? No? All right, we'll move on to item number 9, and we'll slow down a little bit.
We'll read it line by line.
Because we have till 6:30.
Yeah, we might go past 6:30 if I read this line by line.
All right, council report. Any reports by council
Did you
members?
want me to start out with when I was 3?
Well,
I
maybe
have nothing to
6.
report.
Any
Nothing
council
to report.
report?
And I walked to a one-room school in the snow.
Uphill
No,
both
nothing reported.
Uphill both ways, and in snow over your head. I have nothing at this time, but we're going to have some other time here, so. Nothing? John? Nothing? Okay. We'll move on to staff reports. Let us start with the executive director's report, which we have in our agenda packet. It's that real thick part in the back that's about, what is it, 2 pages? 3 pages? 4 pages? 5 pages? All right.
Well, I actually didn't plan on having updates, but we have time. But if the council has any questions, I'm happy to.
Are we getting any good response on call for projects?
We haven't received anything yet from the city or county.
Any interest?
Yes, I believe, I mean, we just heard tonight there's interest and the city has expressed interest,
Okay.
yes.
I think
Absolutely.
the county will have several, yes. I know of a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? Any public comments or questions on this item? No? All right, well, then we will go to item number 11. Item number 11 is adjournment. And our next scheduled meeting is May 1st. Am I reading that right? Yes, May 1st, 2019 at 5:30 PM here. And we stand adjourned until we re-adjourn as the CTA at 6:30.
34 minutes.
But if we can get somebody to move the clocks ahead a little bit. Agency. Is call to order. We will start with consent agenda. Consent agenda items are expected to be routine and non-controversial and will be acted upon by the council at one time without discussion. Any council member, staff member, or interested parties may request that an item be removed from consent agenda for further discussion. Is there any council member wish to pull an item from consent?
I would like to abstain on the approval of the minutes, being I was absent.
Okay, so we would have to pull those out separately to do that. Any other council member, any staff member, any member of the public? Seeing none, I'm looking for a motion for items 2 and 3.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Moving on to item number 1. Is there any public comments on this item? Seeing none, I'm looking for a motion to approve
So moved.
item number 1.
So moved.
Have a motion? And a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 6-0 with one abstention. Two exceptions. Excuse me. We have 2 of them. So it's 5-0 with 2 exceptions. Moving on to item number 4 of the regular agenda. The public comment period, 5 minutes per person. Comments should be limited to items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council and not on the posted agenda. This is Government Code Section 54954.3A. Is there any public comments this evening concerning Calaveras Transit Agency? Seeing none, we'll move on to closed public comment, and we'll move on to item number 5. This is a minute order approving the revised schedule for the Saturday hopper service effective May 1st, 2019.
Thank you, Chair. I'll take that one.
Take this one, Amber?
Yeah.
Okay.
This item, as stated, is a revision of the Saturday hopper schedule. The goal is to make this effective May 1st, which the first Saturday after that would be May 4th. And the change that we're proposing is the additional stop to Ironstone Vineyards. We were actually able to fit in that stop without adjusting the timing of the existing schedule for the other stops, other than the departure time at Arnold's Big Tree Market moved up 5 minutes in order to accommodate this stop. Other than that, there were no other changes required. The cost to add this route, this extension, Ironstone Vineyards is about a mile from the town of Murphy's, so it's a 2-mile round trip. So it's very low cost, and this project is funded through the Low Carbon Transit Operations Program, which is focused on reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and this extension of service is in line with really the purpose of this route, which is for kind of tourist traffic and to get people off the roads.
Any council comments, questions? I'll say that when Irish Days were there that weekend of the Irish Days, that Ironstone had their parking lots full, and they had transits going down to the town of Murphy's, going back and forth. It was highly successful. It was just, and there must have been, I don't know if anybody was there must have been like 10,000 people there. It was insane. And so it was great that the parking lot was open, and having to transport people back and forth, it worked great. So
I got to be there and didn't have to walk because I was on a float.
you were on a float. All right. Any public comments on this item? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 7-0. Moving on to item number 6, this is Paratransit Operations Report. You want to take this one on too?
Sure, I can. I think Cynthia Lawrence, our operations contractor, is usually here for this item,
She is.
and she prepares this report, but I think somebody had called in today, so she had to fill in and couldn't make it. So this report just has some key points for them, and they always introduce a team member of the month, which this month is Norberto Bradley, who is a driver. So I think they just wanted to highlight his service to the county and to the transit system.
Is he going to get a new hat in May?
He is.
He is, okay.
Yes, we are ordering new shirts and hats.
I see. Is it
Good
going to
catch.
be blue and white? Is that it?
Yes.
Any council comments or questions? Public? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to item number 7, the staff reports. Verbal reports with no supplemental materials included, although we do have a 7A. So if you want to move on, is there any staff reports? County council, not county, council, do you have any reports? No? 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 Okay, we'll move on to 7A.
Okay.
The executive director's staff report.
This is my quarterly report update to the council on the various items that we're working on for transit. I won't go through all of them, but I will highlight kind of the first item there to give you an update on the marketing and branding effort that we've discussed here. So as you're aware, the board approved a new branding for Calaveras Transit, which is Calaveras Connect. And we've been working quickly to try to implement that program. So we're looking May 1st as kind of the launch date for the new branding. So we're hoping to bring here for that board meeting a bus that's newly wrapped, and then bring all the materials for display so the board can kind of see all the things that we're working on. Our approach with the marketing campaign is kind of a 3-phased approach. The first phase is obviously the launch and introduction of the new Calaveras Connect brand. And May is a really good time because that's the fair, and we're providing shuttle service to the fair. We're also working closely with the fair to maybe not just have a booth, but potentially have a bus in the exhibit hall. So that will be really neat and have a lot of visibility for the transit system. So we're excited about that partnership. And then in the summer, we're looking to launch a campaign to educate people on where transit connects you to. I think a lot of sometimes the issues of the Jackson route not being extremely successful, just people just don't know we go certain places. So I think we really need to hit the ground hard on educating people on where transit connects you to. And then the fall, we're looking to have a testimonial campaign and photo shoot with some riders and passengers, and we'll have a Tri-Transit Week that will be funded through the LC Top program. So we'll do direct mailers to residents throughout the county and have vouchers for free rides. And really, the main purpose of the direct mailer is not just the free ride, but it's just information about the system and the services we provide. So we kind of have kind of a 3-step approach here to executing kind of a large marketing campaign. And not just for the brand, but it's just necessary for this transit system at this time. And if you guys have any questions on the activities, I'd be happy to.
I did reach out to you on one. And that is to let those events know when they're up and engaged on Saturday, that the Saturday hopper service would be something that they should coordinate with you and try to see if they can work it out. The reason I say that with Hot Copper Car Show that's coming up on May, we could run a hopper from Angels Camp down to Copperopolis and back once an hour would probably be very helpful. But then again, it's such a short time window. How do you get that advertising out there and let people know that that option is available? So that's part of the challenge, is be sure that they reach out to you early enough that it can be well coordinated and it makes it work. So I'm glad to see Irish Days worked out the way it did.
Yeah, and I think that's one of our focuses too, is to build those partnerships and really capitalize on events. And, Supervisor Tofinelli helped coordinate the Ironstone meeting, which helped us do that, and you were helping coordinate with the car show. So I think that really helps when we have those connections and be able to at least get a meeting with people to talk about our service. And those are absolutely, things we can do with the Saturday service. And that's the other thing we're going to bring in May, is kind of an event schedule for the year. So we'll, every year, try to adopt an event schedule. And so I've also included it in that LC Top budget to add events to the Saturday service. So it's funded through that program.
Thank you for stepping up so quickly when those came up, because I know with Irish Days, you don't just instantly pull that together.
Well, I think Irish Days, I mean, luckily we serve that anyways with that, but I think the extension to Ironstone will be important because I think they want to promote parking
Yeah.
out there.
They're wanting to put in a bus stop out there and cover it and the whole thing. He's willing to spend the money and do all that. And then have shuttles when they have concerts or events out there, shuttling back and forth to Murphy's so people can go into Murphy's and park there and not trying to drive around or park at the park and try and get over to the event or what have you. So he's willing to do all of that and let them park in the parking lots and go into town, and it sounds like a great pairing of making things work, so.
Yeah, and if we can partner with them on their marketing,
Yeah.
they've got a big marketing department,
Yeah.
so.
Well, I think that's very
It's an
possible
opportunity.
that we can
Yeah.
have, and he can put that for his benefit, transit available, or whatever we need to get in there. I think that's a very viable thing to do, so.
If you could set up something for the concerts that would service from the concerts to the motels in, Murphy's, Angels, and whatnot, because there's folks that would like to be able to drink and be able to not worry about driving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what we're looking at, all
Yeah.
that whole thing, is we build into that, so, yeah.
And the event for Irish Days was so many people that when my in-laws got to Couts, there was no place to park to get on the bus.
Yeah. It was full.
Yeah,
It was
there's a lot of
absolutely
people
full.
there.
So it turned out great.
I do have a question for you. Are we, Taste of Calaveras is coming up. Is that an opportunity to take advantage? I know I keep bringing it up the month, but is that another opportunity to maybe partner up and see how this idea works,
Yeah, I think when I was talking to Mills about extending the service to the car show, if it requires an extension of the Saturday service, we just need some notice to be able to get it on our annual event schedule. It has to be on our annual event schedule. But if it's along the route of the Saturday service, and we don't have to make any changes to our schedule, it's not an issue at all, and we can work to partner on that.
I have my tickets to you.
I don't have mine. Jason Calaveras.
I got a question.
And schedule stops at each of the, and pick them up, and it'd be great. So, any other comments, Council?
A question concerning the county fair. What's the fee that we're charging this year?
We're proposing a $1 round trip fee.
Okay. And those
Bargain.
where are those pickup stops going to be?
Down 49 to Save Mart and then just back to the fair.
Okay.
So anywhere along that route and Save
you
Mart in the
wait.
high school.
If you wait, they'll stop. I've seen them do it.
Yeah. And then, now with the Saturday Hopper, people can connect all the way from Arnold, Murphy's, World Mark, and then out to the fair on Saturday
Okay.
as well.
Any comments, questions? Any public comments, questions on this item? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 8, adjournment. The next scheduled meeting of the CTA is May 1st, 2019 at 6:30 PM. And with that, we stand adjourned. Breaking records here. Well,